Good afternoon, MLB Pro family. My name is Scott Gessford. I'm your GM of the Sacramento Athletics.
And I'm Rob Chappy, GM of your Kansas City Royals.
All right, so let's start with a division recap. I'll start with the American League East. Right now, Tampa Bay is 25 and 10, 6 games above Baltimore, who's 19 and 16. Then we got the Boston Red Sox, 18 and 19. Toronto is 17 and 19, and the Yankees are 11 and 25.
Over in the Central, the surprise Tigers are still playing well and leading the division at 24 and 12. The Twins have popped ahead of the Royals um, with a 20 and 16 record. And just for the record, this is standings right before the May 7th games. Chicago, or I'm sorry, my Royals are just a half a game behind the Twins at 20 and 17. The White Sox 17 and 19, and the Guardians bringing up the rear at 10 and 26, and I believe in search of new leadership there. So
Yes.
tell your friends.
Yeah, exactly. And over in the AL West, Seattle Mariners are 24 and 11, 2 games up on my Sacramento A's, followed by the Angels, who are 4.5 back at 19 and 15. Houston is now 19 and 16, and the Rangers are 13-23.
Out in the NL East, the Phillies are riding a 9 game winning streak and have jumped back up to the top, which I don't think surprises anyone. The Braves are still playing well. They're 6 and 4 in their last 10 and 19 and 17. Nationals 18 and 19. The Mets 15 and 22, and then the Marlins just a half game behind them at 14 and 22.
And over to the National League Central, who is the only division that has all the teams at 500 or better. It's led by the Pittsburgh Pirates at 23 and 14. Next is the Cincinnati Reds at 21 and 16, 2 games back. The Cardinals are 4 games back at 19 and 18, along with the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Cubs are 18 and 18, only 4.5 games back.
And also at 18 and 18 are your Arizona Diamondbacks who lead the West. Now the West has nobody above 500 as of May 7th here. The Giants are only 2.5 games back, and they've been playing better. They're 7 and 3 in their last 10. They got a 16 and 21 record. The Dodgers are at 14 and 21. The Rockies 13 and 22, and the Padres 12 and 23.
How would you like to be 12 and 23 and only 5.5 games back in your division? That's kind
I
of
mean,
a funny stat to me.
there's hope, right? There's hope there.
Always hope.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to your Kansas City Royals. What's going right? What's going wrong? What are you frustrated about? What are you happy about?
Well, the thing that's been really getting on my nerves lately is the number of runners we're leaving on base. Now, I feel like some of this is just in my head and that the statistics wouldn't actually back it up if I were to, go on a long rant. But we currently lead the league with a 342 on base percentage, just tops in at least in the AL. Um, I was figuring we'd probably be in the middle of the pack in run scores, but we're actually tied for third. So
Yes.
maybe my concern is not really that valid and we're actually scoring a lot of runs, but it feels to me um, like every game we're getting guys, we're walking them, we're getting hits, and we're just leaving 2 guys on every inning. And we have had
Hey,
a number of double digit left on bases lately. And so,
hey, tied for
yeah, go
third
ahead.
and run scored. You need to stop bitching about that. Tied for third. Come
I
on.
know, I know, but like we've lost a lot of these games recently where, we'll have 15 hits and 4 runs and we'll lose to somebody who had, 7 runs on 8 hits. And it just annoys me. Um, so Scott, I don't know if you know about this, but like I watch all of my games. I've been in
How do you
this
do that?
So I've been in this phase where I see Matt starting the sim, and then I just kind of like turn off my notifications and hide because I don't want any spoilers to come up. And I'll look about 30 minutes later to see if the file's been uploaded. And then I go to, you know, if anyone doesn't know how to watch a replay of your game, if you go to the MLB tab um, at the top and choose the scores page, there's a box you can check. Now you got to do this before you download the file, but you check the box that says hide scores, then you download your file, and then you click back a day. Um, when when your game comes back after you've downloaded the file, it'll often take you off of that scores page, so you kind of have to avert your eyes because a lot of times it goes to my GM page where if I look to the right-hand side of the screen, I'll see an article saying who won the game, even with the scores hidden box. So what I got to do is kind of like go back to the scores page quickly, which I just, you know, go to the top and drop that. But you can make it a function key if you're savvy. I should probably do that at some point. Um, and then I go, back a day, and then you'll have an option to watch a replay. And what I really like about that, it kind of shows me like, which outfielders are getting burned a lot. It's things you don't really see in the box scores and as well. If my shortstop's just missing a bunch of balls, um,
or Swagger
stuff like
striking out at
that.
the
Yeah,
plate.
swagger striking out. And it puts these things in your head. Like I feel like anytime I'm pitching and I've got two strikes on a batter that like they're gonna get a hit and they won't strike out. But anytime one of my guys has two strikes on him, we're gonna swing and miss every time. But I think that's just
You're one of
uh
those conspiracy theorists, huh?
yeah, right. Tinfoil hat wearer over here. But but yeah, so I've been watching a lot of my games and it just feels like we are not getting guys home enough. And the one thing I will say, because I mentioned earlier that I feel like the stats don't back me up on that, is I do know, and I'm not sure how this stat is calculated, but when it comes to the base running stat, I am 15 out of
Yeah,
15 teams in the AL in
yeah,
base
minus
running.
6.3, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means, but I do know in the last game alone, I ran into 2 outs and was caught stealing. So that's probably got something to do with that.
Well, maybe what we should do is ask somebody else in the league if they know what that stat is and how it's calculated to come on next time and
Oh
explain it
yeah,
to us and the
sure.
rest of the league.
Any stat heads out there know what the base running formula is to come up with that. But that does kind of reinforce maybe bad base running is and not a lack of clutch hitting is why I feel like I'm leaving so many guys on, or at least getting a lot of guys on and not doing it.
You're 20 and 17, only 4.5 back.
Yeah. And
Bang
that I'm
bang.
I'm I'm happy with my record because
But
the
you're
other
dealing
thing
with
is
injuries too.
when you go to your team homepage and you've got a tab that says meet the team and I'll show you your top players. My top players when the season started were Mark Baker and Cody Clemens, and they're both on the shelf right now. So I'm happy with to still be leading the league in on base percentage with both of those guys missing significant time. Um, Baker's still out for another month. Clemens should be back in 2 weeks. I feel like we're doing okay there, but I've got to capitalize on these division. I got to win these division games if I want to
Hey,
stay alive.
did you know that Cody Clemens is batting 750 on the year?
Yes, I did. I did know that. He's the best hitter in the league right now. He's just only been able to play in 3 games. But once he comes back, we are we should be firing at all cylinders unless somebody else gets hurt. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
but
always part of the game.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the Royals report on the state of the Royals. Oh, one other thing. My big offseason free agent signing, Alex Watts, has really had a tough time, and I was hoping he'd get a win yesterday. I don't blame him entirely because he was playing with a bit of a B team, but that shouldn't have affected his control, and he did manage to walk 4 batters. But I'm hoping to get better play out of Watts soon. My manager still slots him in as the number 2 starter. So he believes in him. David Eckstein believes in Alex Watts. So I'm not going to panic yet. As long as we're within 5 or 6 games of first place, I'm really not looking to make any changes. I feel like we just gotta get healthy and see how things go. But
So once you get
that's
seven
the
games back, you're going to start making changes?
yeah. Once it gets a little like scary, like oh gosh, I'm too far back. I might tinker around. But at the moment, we're just just being patient. Don't overreact. Um, and see what goes on. What's going on in athletics world?
See, I kind of have the opposite problem. I'm 11th in on base percentage, batting average, and 12th in slugging and on base plus slugging, but I'm sixth in runs scored. So when my guys are getting on base, they're coming around to score, which is nice, and that probably helps with my stolen bases, second in the league, and my base running is eighth in the league, but it's a +3, like we said before. Whatever the heck that is, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't complain about it since I'm in the middle of the pack. And today we're getting Alonso Martinez back into our lineup, who's doing okay. I mean, he's not knocking a stuffing out of the ball yet, but I'm hoping that that comes shortly. We've had a couple guys who are struggling for us. Profar is only batting 171 so far, and Randall Walker is only batting 186, and Daniel McCormick at 183. So we have some guys that are struggling in the lineup, but Donnie Baseball is back to hitting home runs.
Yeah,
He's hit
so
he's hit four.
that was a good little signing you made there. Did you sign him during the offseason? He's been in the minors all year, or was he a late addition to your roster?
No, I contacted him earlier in the offseason and asked him for a minor league contract, and he said, no way, never do that. And then as soon as the season started, he contacted me and said, hey, I'm willing to do a minor league contract.
Okay.
So I did a minor league contract, with a 30 days to join the team or else he could opt out. And so on day 29, my first basemans were struggling, so I promoted him, and he's doing he's doing quite good. I mean, striking out a lot, not walking, but he is putting the ball in the bleachers, so can't complain about that. What's really going right for the A's right now is our pitching. Last
Yeah.
night we eked out one against Seattle, 3-2, scoring uh, runs in I think the eighth and 10th innings to win the game, or something like that. It was, but our pitching is really keeping us in the ball game right now. Hunter Green, I think 2 weeks ago when we talked, he had a 16 ERA. Now he's down to 5.5.
No, that's good progress.
So yeah, well,
Yeah.
couldn't I don't know if it could have got much worse than that, but um,
Well, I noticed
yeah,
that coupled with your pitching, you've got the number one defensive efficiency in the league and the number one zone rating. So it's
yeah, that was
hard to
that
know
was
whether the defense is leading the pitching or the pitching is leading the defense, but there's definitely some synergy there.
right. That's one of the things I worked on this off season and for this year was trying to get more, get into more balls. Getting another extra out here or extra out there, playing good defense. Because I think we all struggle with that from time to time. And sometimes when I'm watching that game, it says reach on the air, and that frustrates me more than anything else
Yeah.
in the world. And that and giving away free walks. But I'm 10th in the league in walks. So, but things are going well. We are still only a couple games back of Seattle with our third game in our series going tonight. And then, a little bit later on in the month, my schedule starts getting tough. Next weekend, well, after this game, I get a day off and play three against the Yankees at home, and a day off, and three against the Dodgers in LA. And then I go through a stretch where I play at the Giants for three, at home against the Angels for four, then three at home against Philadelphia before a day off,
Mm.
and
So
then
it's not even
Houston.
like just AL West teams. You got good teams from other divisions coming around.
Yeah, it's gonna be, my, schedule starts getting tough, which is why it was so important to play good baseball early and get my guys that confidence up. Now, you mentioned earlier about watching the games. What other screens do you like to go to prepare for your matchups?
So, one thing I like to look at is the game preview, and I've had a couple people in the Slack ask me like where that screen is, so maybe I should just tell everybody while I'm on the air here. But if you look in the upper right hand corner, like if you're on your team homepage, it's actually on a lot of the pages. There's a little window in the upper right where it'll show you like yesterday's game, today's game, tomorrow's game.
Right.
And then it'll say like, so for mine, I'm playing Eric Braun and the Chicago White Sox tonight.
That's
So
going to be
it'll
a tough
say,
matchup.
yeah, he's a really good pitcher. So if you hit where it says play versus Chicago, it'll take you to a screen that's kind of like a um, little preview screen, and it'll show like the road team on the left, home team on the right, and then it'll break it down, and you have a drop down. You can choose by position or by lineup. I like to keep mine on by positions, and it kind of compares the people at each position. Um, and it gives you a little team logo of who they think is better. So I can see that, Frankie Alvarez is preferred over Keibert Ruiz of the White Sox, but I can also
Hey,
see that.
I'm not liking that screen for my matchup against Seattle tonight.
And I can see that this is a pretty much a game that could go either way. Because we've got, four KC logos, four White Sox logos, and one tie. I do have the advantage at the bottom for the pitcher, but I'm not buying that because I mean Kenny Funkhauser is great, but Eric Braun is also a little bit more experienced and a very good pitcher. But
But also, when you're on that screen, though, you have to be careful, though, not to hit start game, right?
yes, if you start your game, you're going to need to re-download your file. So always leave it by hitting cancel game. But the other tab I like at the top of this, when you're in this screen, it'll show your like I have Kansas City lineup and starting pitcher. And a lot of times I'll use that screen. I'll do a little screen capture of my lineup on there because it's a nice look. It's got more stats than the other lineup uh views. So it's pretty cool because you can see it'll have games, at bats, hits, home runs, RBI, average, on base percentage, slugging, OPS, and stolen bases for each player. It's just a nice looking graphic there when I can see a nice little fire icon next to Bradley Swagger. So, but always hit cancel game, never hit start game, or else you'll have to re-download your file.
Well, I've seen a few times in the past in the Slack room that you've gone, hey, I got like an 8-2 lead on that screen against somebody else, and then you lose
Yeah,
the game.
yeah, it happens all the time. I feel better when I'm the underdog on that screen, honestly. But I think a lot of it is, it's might be saying who has the edge here, who has the edge there, but you know, what if like the four players I have on the edge on are just barely have the edge on, but then like the players, the White Sox have the edge on, they have like a huge edge on, it can be a little misleading. Um,
Right.
and of course there's a reason you play the games because, like I said, a lot of times when I feel like the other team's got a bunch of, players way better than mine, I'll still win. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's been frustrating me from the A's perspective is that my starters are only going like 5 innings and then getting yanked, and
Well,
I got them on, you know, slow hook, all that kind of stuff. I have one guy, Hunter Johnson, who's averaging just over 6 innings a game. The other ones are averaging, under 5 innings a game.
Um, if you go to the strategy page and do your overall strategies, is that one on slow hook? Maybe you've got that one not being
Yeah, no, I
um
got it. I got it way over for
hmm,
slow hook. So I
yeah,
don't know. Hopefully they'll start pitching deeper into games. That's why I got the pitchers I got, is so they
yeah.
go deeper in games and not tax my bullpen. But
Well,
that's enough
you might
about me being frustrated.
that's good.
Yeah. So
Well,
one of the things I wanted to talk about was,
yeah.
you know, the divisions and who may not be in first place right now, but has a shot to win each division.
Okay,
For
sure.
instance, in the AL East, Tampa Bay has a 6 game lead over Baltimore and 8 game lead over Boston. I see that division being a two-team race between Tampa and Baltimore because Boston has had so many injuries. Uh, who knows when they're going to get out of injury jail. So I think Baltimore's the really only threat to catch up to Tampa.
Um, it would take a lot to catch the Rays, but I would not rule out the Blue Jays at this point.
Well, the
Um,
Blue Jays are selling.
I know, but they haven't actually sold yet, have they?
No, not yet. But maybe this is the same way. Maybe that's why Seattle is always so good. They're always
They're always rebuilding.
rebuilding.
That's how
Yes,
you do it. Um,
exactly.
yeah, I wouldn't count them out. I do agree. I think going back to the previous show, I picked Baltimore in that division. Um, so I obviously have some belief in them, but
Yeah,
I if you look at Toronto, we're, getting close to 35, 40 games in. They still have a positive run differential. They've just,
yeah.
you know, not not won as many as they've lost.
There you go. That's a nice way of putting it, right?
Yeah. Um, so I wouldn't
But
count them out, but I would say that you're right. Baltimore's far more likely.
it's kind of nice to see some of these teams that have not been powerhouses, advance to the top of a division. Toronto's kind of owned that division
Yeah.
for a number of
Yeah.
years. And I'm not saying anything bad against Toronto. I'm just saying it's nice to see teams like Baltimore and Tampa reach
Yeah.
for reach for a division, try to win a division and reach for it and have a chance.
Right.
Now the
And
AL
AL
Central is going
Central
to be,
is
yeah.
it's definitely Kansas City is the team that's not in first now that probably will be, right?
If you want to go there, what about the Twins?
The Twins make me nervous, but I still feel like we're uh, better.
I feel like,
I know
uh,
anonymous GM on our previous show was picking the
uh,
Twins still, but I
yeah,
think he was just trying to be contrarian.
and
Uh,
and
I
and I think starting next year, you're going to have to keep your eye on the White Sox.
The White Sox are playing well. That preview screen I was just talking about, my game tonight, it's 4-4 and a tie, and then I got the advantage on the pitcher, but like that's how it's been like last night because I had a few backups and it was like mostly White Sox logos. I still lost, unfortunately,
Well, yeah,
um,
but
talent wise, I feel like they're right here. Um,
yeah.
and they're only a couple games behind. They're 2.5 games behind me. So you can't
And
ignore the White Sox.
no, and
Uh,
one of the interesting things that I don't remember if it was Brenton or somebody else pointed out in the Slack room yesterday that the Angels are 6 games worse than what they're projected to be at this point. So they could have
mhm.
the best record in baseball.
Yeah. Well,
If
they do have the best run differential in the AL, and it's not even close. It's by like 21 runs.
yeah, against
Um,
Seattle,
so they're
and
they're they're blowing people out and losing close games,
yeah,
which
well, and Houston's working their way back up from their struggles from the beginning.
right. Houston is yeah, so in the AL West, I really like Seattle, but anyone but the Rangers I could see winding up in first in that division.
I don't
I
see
think
your.
we
I don't
all
think you're not going to see the A's in first place. I mean, would I like to see it? Of course I would, but I don't see that
I mean
happening.
as long as you pitch and play defense the way you are, I don't see why not.
I
The
wild card spot would be okay.
the Astros, you know, nearly unanimous or unanimous pick at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
They're on a bit of a uptick, they're playing over 500 in their last 10.
but did you see the anonymous GM the other day posted something about Paul Erickson in the Angels at a crossroads?
Yeah.
You know, because he only has a year left on his contract after this year, and I'm going to tell Matt right now, sell him, please. Make the division a little bit easier.
Right? Well, they still have the elder Funkhauser. what's his
Yes.
name? Kyle Funkhauser, and they were
Yes.
threatened to part ways with him back in the spring. So I don't know.
And why didn't you get him to get the Funk Brothers?
If I hadn't have signed Watts, I probably would have gone for that just for fun,
You should have
just to
done
have
it
the Funk
anyway.
Brothers, Motown style. Actually, Detroit needs the Funk Brothers, don't they? Um, Over in the NL East, uh, the Braves had a good start. I don't really see anyone besides Braves and Phillies in that division able to win it.
Yeah, I don't either. That's not to say Washington, the Mets and Miami are terrible. It seems like, to me, Philadelphia seems like the class of the division and Atlanta's, a wild card team.
Yeah. So here's an interesting note. NL Central, right? The
Yeah.
last place team are the Cubs.
Yep.
Probably doesn't surprise anyone. But which team has the best Pythagorean record in that division?
I'm looking at it, so I know the
Oh,
answer.
the
It,
Cubs.
it it's the
The
Cubs.
last
Yes.
place team has the best Pythagorean record in that division. That's just funny to me. Now they're 500. They're not like a cellar dweller, and they've been in first a lot of the year, and they're just on a terrible 1-9, or they just had a 9 game losing streak.
Right,
Or
and their
no, 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 no.
differential.
They're on a 7 game losing streak, right? That's what
Yeah,
it
they are.
is.
They are, but they're 2 games worse than they should be, and every other team in that division is 2, 4, or 5 games better than
Right.
they should be. Like Pittsburgh, leading the division, they said their record should be 18 and 19, and they're 23 and
Right.
14.
Yeah. So I would
So,
love to see the Cubs, pop back up and go on a winning streak after this losing streak ends. Um, and the math says maybe they should. Maybe they
well, they have the
will.
best run differential by far in that division,
Yeah.
plus
So
17. The Reds are plus 4, the next closest team.
yeah, and the Brewers are somehow above 500 with a minus 27. Don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
that's a crazy world.
Yeah, never figured out sometimes. And in the National League West, I'm not surprised that the Diamondbacks are in first place.
And I'm not surprised that the Giants are in second.
No, but their records are what surprises me. 18 and
Yeah.
18 and then 16 and 21. But I
Yeah.
don't see anybody else in that division other than those 2 teams that have a legitimate shot at winning the division.
No, I don't either. Um, I feel like it's going to be one of those two teams.
I think when we meet up in 2 weeks, it'd be interesting to see where the standings are at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot will happen over the next 2 weeks, that's for sure. Um, hey, Scott, I got a did you know?
Uh-oh. What about Swagger now?
Now, come on. Did you know that Bradley Swagger is on pace for 48 home runs this year?
That's it?
That's great.
That is great
Uh,
for
yeah. He hit two yesterday in our loss, and he's up to 11 now, which I want to say leads all AL rookies, which I think is a great
and
bridge to our next topic, the
but he
American
has
League Rookie of the Year
yeah,
race.
I was gonna say he has competition for the rookie of the year, doesn't he?
I want to say it's down to about a four-person race. Uh,
Okay.
I think, Detroit's Kyle Manzardo has been great, but he's cooled off from this hot start. He still leads Swagger by 5 points in batting average. Like Manzardo's hitting 278, Swagger's hitting 273.
But he's 6 for his last 15. How do you say he's struggling?
I didn't say he's struggling. I just said he's come down from his hot
Oh,
start. He
okay.
was hitting like 350, and now he's hitting 278. Um, so basically, in all the major categories, Manzardo leads in average, in on base percentage, um, in batter WAR. Uh, but Swagger is second in all those categories. And then Swagger leads in home runs with 11, RBIs with 29, slugging percentage, on base
Hey,
percentage.
but home runs are sexy.
Yeah. And all those things that Swagger leads in, Manzardo is second in. The only other person that was making noise earlier is Jamie Blackburn of Texas, but his average has fallen down into the 230s. So unless
Yeah.
he like has a resurgence, he's not really a threat to either one of those guys.
Right, but you said four person. That's only two.
Yeah. Well, that's because I've just been talking about batters. Um, Over in the pitching realm, an former Royal, current Detroit Tiger, Tate Roadmaker is off to a pretty good start this year. He's got a 3-0 record in 7 starts. ERA is an even 3. Um, Now he was so Jim was trying to get rid of Chris Scalise because he hated him and he was pitching horribly every time he started.
Not
And
Jim.
he
He would talk nicely about Scalise every time he had a chance.
and I remember I DM'd him and I was like, I'll take him. And he's like, just send me anybody. And I figure like a guy like Scalise, he was pitching terribly, that is true, but he was worth something. Like in real life, no one's gonna give a pitcher like that over for nothing. So I found, Tate Roadmaker at the time was like my number two pitching prospect. Um, and so I just like here, take Roadmaker to make it realistic. And now I'm kind of like, man, I should have given him somebody else.
He might not have taken
But
somebody else though.
yeah, right. So it's good to see a former Royal have success as long as he's not doing it against me, which
Yeah.
is a lot. And then the other guy that I think is making noise in the Rookie of the Year races over in Baltimore, Alex Early. He's also off
Uh-huh.
to a 3-2 start, but also has 7 starts, and he's averaging a strikeout an inning, and he's pitching really well, and it's been helping Baltimore kind of stay near the top of the standings. Um, so I think you're really looking at Roadmaker early, Manzardo and Swagger as the four. But if Swagger gets his 48 home runs, I don't think there's going to be a competition.
Okay, well you've covered the American League work. Do you have anybody in the National League? We gotta
So
try to play fair, right?
yeah, I mean, okay. So I think somebody, I don't remember if it was you or Anonymous GM, but somebody in our preview show, or maybe it was Kimberly, kind of scoffed when I called out Dylan Cruz. It was you, I remember, because you said it was going to be Justin Flo. And I
Yes.
said Dylan Cruz. And I want you to know that Cruz right now is leading in almost every category, right? Dylan Cruz is hitting 291, which leads all National League rookies. He's got 13 home runs, which leads all rookies altogether. 33 RBIs leads all rookies. He's got a 380 on base percentage. He's tearing it up. His OPS is over one. It's 1.053.
He
So
strikes out a lot though.
he does strike out a lot, but as you said, home runs are sexy, and he's got two more than Swagger. So uh, now
That's very true. He's
uh,
keeping it up.
your pick, Justin Flo, is only uh, a few home runs behind. He's got 13 home runs, but he's
Yeah,
just
but he's only batting
he's not
221.
he's not hitting very well. But that could change. It's a long season, and he's
Yeah.
definitely going to get a lot of playing time down in Miami. So
Yes.
I'm really happy with the Cruz pick.
Looks
Um,
looks like Nostradamus right now,
I
right?
would have thought that G Scott would be a guy to watch, and he's only got a 238 average at this point. But like
Yeah,
I
I'm
said a
surprised
minute
by
ago,
that.
it's early. Um, Over in the National League, when you look at the rookie pitchers,
But G Scott's
there's
not even he's not even up in Pittsburgh anymore.
oh, has he been sent down?
I guess so. I just looked on their lineup and he's not there.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's not going to be in the running. Maybe they're like, screw this guy.
Or
He's going
maybe
home.
maybe he's hurt. Oh yeah, there he is. He's on the IL for a few more weeks.
Well, over in the National League on the rookie pitchers, there's nobody with enough innings to qualify for any of the rate statistics. So I think that they're probably not, unless you get a late bloomer like a Dontrell Willis or something like that. There's not really going to be any pitchers in that picture. So
So you're
I'm
saying
I,
Cruz is going to run away with this?
I'm saying that Cruz is running away with this right now. And unless
Uh,
somebody like Flo can go on a tear, I think there's a couple other guys I mentioned who are also on the Cubs on the previous show, like Zachary Evans and Kobe Mayo. Like one of those guys could pop up into the picture. In fact, Kobe Mayo does lead all NL rookies in runs scored with 26.
You had this
Uh,
love affair with the Cubs.
I think they've got a really good young team. And it's been fun, when somebody invests a lot of time in the team like Jabs does, it's fun to see them succeed.
Yep, that is starting to pay off. Yeah, and if
Yeah.
Mayo could get his batting average up some, he could be a serious contender.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. One non-Cub, Spencer Brash, first baseman over in Cincinnati, has a 282 average, which is pretty good. Um, Slow as molasses, but maybe he'll
Well, he's a first
maybe
baseman. He's supposed to be slow.
yeah. I don't know if it's really that slow. He runs backwards, I think.
Well, and
So
for my MVP pick for the year in the National League, I picked Shohei on Ohtani, and he's just not doing very well with the bat this year, which is
mm,
surprising to me. But he's not doing bad on he's doing great on the mound, 2.37 ERA, 2-1 so far. But I expected more out of his bat than he's
yeah.
given right now.
I don't remember who I picked for NL MVP. Hmm.
I
I'll
don't
have to
know.
go back
I'll have
and
to go
listen
look
and
him
find
up
out.
and yeah,
Make a list.
exactly. So what else? Is there anything else you want to talk about that's going on in the league? And
Well, I think I've covered all of my rantable topics. Um, I think, you know, I think we're at a point of the season now that, everyone's played 35, 36, 37 games, where things are starting to take shape, because, it's a fifth of the way through the year, and maybe a little bit more than that.
almost a quarter. Yeah,
Almost a
once we get to
quarter of the way
40.
through the
Yeah.
year. So it's a good time to start paying attention to things. But there's still a lot of time left for teams that aren't in first place. So um,
Yes.
yeah, so that's all I got for you today, Scott.
All right. That's a good place to wrap up. But I think we need to make a call out to everybody in the league. If you're interested in coming on and joining us and giving your perspective on what's going on, please hit one of us up, DM us. I send out the invite for Zoom, and all you got to do is ask, and I'll be happy to include you and get your perspective on whether it's on your team or somebody else's team.
How to find a screen.
How to find a screen, you know, maybe come on, maybe Jabs needs to come on and tout his players more so they get more, recognition for Rookie of the Year. Maybe Jim needs to come on and tout out Manzaro so you're not just spouting off with
I think I've been
swagger.
fair covering Manzardo enough. Okay.
Okay, if you say so, Rob, that's the way. Okay, we'll take your word for that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens 2 weeks from now, which will be the 21st of May. See where the standings are, because I think we're starting to get to the point where contenders are contenders and pretenders are pretenders.
That's
That
right.
quarter of the way mark, starts to tell us who teams are.
Yes, it does.
So, all right. Well, if there is nothing else, we will see you in two
Two
weeks.
weeks. Two
And
weeks.
and like I said, please hit us up and join us. You don't want to just keep hearing our two voices the whole year long.
I don't know.
Maybe
I got a
maybe what we
nice
need to do
tone.
is do a personal invitation to some people and maybe the anonymous GM, because we will be more than a quarter of the way done next time, and see if he wants to come on and tell
Sounds good.
us who's for real and who's not.
All right.
All right,
That
Rob,
sounds good.
appreciate
Thanks, Scott.
everything and good luck to the Royals.
Thank you. Good luck
And
to the A's
yes, and we both need it right
in
now.
whatever city you represent.
Yes, we'll see you in 2 weeks. All right. See you later.